We've got all the details from this AP News article, fresh off the press, covering his first appearance in court.
Okay.
So let's break it down.
Yeah.
I mean, this isn't like your typical, celebrity court drama.
No, not at all. This goes way beyond that. Combs is facing some serious charges here: racketeering, conspiracy, sex trafficking. Those are big accusations.
Yeah.
Huge legal consequences potentially.
Wow.
And the fact that these charges, they stem from alleged incidents all the way back in 2008, that adds a whole other layer to this.
2008.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a long time for a case like this to be going on. And the article mentioned multiple women have come forward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's where this racketeering conspiracy charge, that's where it gets really interesting. See, because it's not just about like proving one specific act or incident, it's about like a pattern, right? Prosecutors, they're trying to show that Combs was using like an organized structure, maybe involving other people connected to him, to make these alleged crimes happen.
Wow.
It's a tactic they usually use for like dismantling like, big organized crime rings.
Right.
So to see it in this context, that's pretty significant.
Yeah. So you've got this picture that they're painting of this powerful figure, and they're saying he's using that power in this very calculated way.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, Combs, he's the founder of Bad Boy Records, right?
Yeah.
So there's got to be a lot of power dynamics at play here.
Oh, absolutely. The stakes they couldn't be higher for anybody involved in this.
Yeah.
You've got Combs himself. He's 54 years old now.
Yeah.
You've got multiple accusers. And then you've got Judge Arun Subramanian.
Right.
He's the one who's got to steer this whole trial.
It's like this powder keg, You've got celebrity, you've got power, you've got the justice system all colliding.
It is.
Like, this feels like the kind of trial that could actually set some major precedents.
Yeah. You are spot on. This is definitely one we're going to want to watch very, very closely.
So this first court appearance, it sounded like it wasn't really about the accusations themselves, more about, like, setting the stage, right?
Yeah, exactly.
The article called it a procedural hearing, which, to be honest, sounds kind of boring.
Yeah.
What actually goes on in these things?
Well, it's, it might not be like as dramatic as what we'll see once the trial actually starts.
Right.
But it's super important. This is where both sides, the defense and the prosecution, they come in, they present their proposed timelines to the judge.
Okay.
And the court kind of lays down the ground rules for how everything's going to proceed.
So like a legal game plan, basically.
Exactly. And like any good game plan, there's some real strategy involved here.
Yeah.
Like the article mentioned that Combs's lawyers, they're pushing for a speedy trial. Like they want to go in April or May.
Oh, wow. Really?
Yeah. And that's not just about clearing the docket quickly. It could be a calculated move on their part.
Interesting. So what would be the advantage for Combs's defense to have a quick trial?
Well, asking for a speedy trial, it often kind of suggests that the defense, they feel good about their case.
Okay.
Maybe they think that they can poke some holes in the prosecution's arguments, do it quickly, efficiently,
Yeah.
potentially get a better outcome for Combs. It's almost like saying, we're ready, let's do this, let's go head to head.
I see. Like a show of confidence, maybe even a way to keep the pressure on the prosecution.
Exactly. Yeah.
But the article did mention that the prosecution hasn't agreed to that timeline yet.
Right. And that's not surprising. The prosecution has to think about their own strategy.
Right. Of course.
They want to make absolutely sure they've got enough time to build like a really strong case.
Yeah.
Especially with charges this complex, the potential for, lots of witnesses and things like that.
Yeah, for sure. So kind of like a tug of war then over this timeline.
So it is, yeah.
But aside from like actually setting the trial date, what else happens at this stage?
Well,
The article mentioned something about pretrial motions.
yes, pretrial motions, those are really important. Think of those like legal chess moves, right?
Okay.
Both sides are going to use these pretrial motions to try to, get certain evidence admitted or maybe keep some evidence out.
Wow.
Or even just trying to get the whole case dismissed.
Oh, wow.
It's all about positioning, right?
Yeah.
Setting yourself up for the best possible outcome once that trial kicks off.
So high stakes even before the trial officially begins.
Oh, absolutely.
And then there's that whole discovery phase.
Right.
That's where they have to share the evidence, right?
Yeah.
Both sides.
That's it. Discovery, it's all about transparency. Both sides got to lay their cards on the table, so to speak.
Right.
No surprises popping up at the last minute. It's about fairness, giving both sides a chance to really prepare. And with a case this big, this high profile, it's all over the media, that transparency, it's even more crucial.
Yeah, totally. No one wants a legal curveball with this much attention, right?
Exactly. And speaking of things that are big,
Yeah.
let's talk about the elephant in the room, or we should say the very large sum of money in the room,
Right.
the bail issue.
Yeah, so bail, the article said Combs was denied twice,
Yeah, 2 judges now have said no to bail.
calling him a danger, even a flight risk.
Yeah.
That's pretty serious stuff.
It is serious, no doubt, but you got to remember, the justice system is at this balancing act,
Right.
presumption of innocence, right? That's huge.
Yeah.
But public safety, too.
Yeah.
And when you're talking accusations this serious,
Yeah.
court's got to look at every angle.
Right, especially what you said, Combs having the means to just disappear.
Exactly.
The article even mentioned witness tampering being a concern, right?
Oh, absolutely. High-profile cases, that's always a factor. Can't ignore it. Influences these decisions for sure. It's about not just Combs's rights, but is he a threat to the community?
Right.
To the case itself. It's a tough call.
And then there's this $50 million bail package.
Yeah.
His team offered that. That's almost unfathomable.
It's a staggering amount, even for someone with Combs' money.
Right.
And it wasn't just a blank check either. House arrest, monitoring, the whole 9 yards. They're pulling out all the stops to keep him out of custody.
I mean, $50 million, that shows you how much he doesn't want to be behind bars while this goes on.
It does.
But is even that much going to be enough to sway the appeals court? They have the final say, right?
They do. The Second Circuit, they'll make the call. And while we're waiting on that, important to remember, this is just one piece of a much bigger puzzle,
Right.
Articles stress that both sides still building their cases, evidence, arguments, all of it.
It's easy to get caught up in the headlines, the bail, the appearances. But this trial, at its heart, it's about something way bigger.
It is, yeah. This case, it brings up power, consent, coercion. We're talking about a high-stakes industry entertainment. Big legal questions, societal ones, too. How does the court even untangle that? How does the evidence shape what we end up talking about? It'll be fascinating.
And it's got everyone talking. And for good reason, Makes you
Yeah.
think power dynamics, they're everywhere, not just Hollywood.
Right?
And how do we, as a society, get to a place where everyone, rich or poor, famous or not, feels safe to speak up?
Couldn't have said it better myself. This whole thing, it's a reminder, justice is a process, not an event. And it's a process we got to keep pushing for constantly.
Wow, yeah, powerful way to put it. In this case, nowhere near over. We'll be here to break it all down each step of the way. But until then, keep those questions coming. Stay engaged. Because in this conversation,
Yeah.
everyone's voice matters. All right, so this Sean Diddy Combs trial, everyone's talking about it. You want to get the full picture.